Hello and welcome to part 2 of my quick look at the Chameleon 64. I neglected to actually show you what it looked like in the last video, so I shall rectify that now. There is the little fella. The yellow part is the cartridge which actually fits into the back of the Commodore 64. I have one there. The rest of the gubbins is an adapter that allows you to plug in retro joysticks and mice if you really want to use a terrible mouse with your Amiga, your emulated Amiga. It's not really emulated, yeah, let's not split hairs. It also allows me to plug in my lovely Competition Pro joystick. I must also apologise for my voice because I listened to it on the last video and it did sound bloody awful. I shall try not to have a massive coughing fit during this one. Shit, sorry about that. Anyway, back to the plan. Okay, so it's back to the menu, and as I said before, this is the default Commodore 64 core, so we're going to load a different core. So I'll go down to Launch Core. Okay, the top one there is the Chameleon core itself. I've got a few ZX Spectrum cores there that I haven't actually managed to figure out how to use yet. I shall revisit those at a later time when I get time to actually figure them out. What we're interested in though is this one. Oh, not that one, this one. Launch that. Oh, it's really flickery. It's loading the Minimig core at the moment. Look that up if you like. Google is good for that sort of thing. It takes a little while to load. Oh, you can see me in the background. Hello. Sorry again. And here we are. Amiga OS 3.1. Oh yes, I do apologise. My mouse pointer is a crudely drawn cock and balls. I was really bored. And it's got screen dragging. Of course it's got screen dragging. It wouldn't be an Amiga if it didn't. Okay, so I'm going to go down to execute command. Ooh. Sorry, I'm typing and looking at the back of my phone at the same time. It's actually quite hard. Just type show config. Okay, the Amiga it's actually given me is quite strange. If I had to describe it, it's like an Amiga 600 with a 68020 processor and a 1 gig hard disk. I mean, all that means a lot to an Amiga spod such as myself, but you really don't have to pay attention to any of that. If I type info, that shows the disks that are present, and if you add that up it comes to 1 gig. So yeah, that proves I've got a hard disk image that's working. Okay, you don't want to see any of that, you don't give a shit about that. So oh, wrong drive. Ooh. You want to see some games, so let's just go into my games folder. I have WHD load installed, which you can also Google. It's probably the best 15 quid I've ever spent. Well, that's probably a bit of an exaggeration if I'm honest. I have been to pubs. What it does is it creates a kind of Amiga virtual machine and allows you to launch games that previously only came on floppies and launch them as if they were installed to the hard disk, so you don't have to piss around with floppy disk images. It's really useful, and I would recommend it to anyone who wants to play lots of games on either a real or emulated Amiga. It's fantastic. So let me have a look at the Canon folder there. Why not? Everyone likes Canon fodder. Okay, so this is the launcher for Canon fodder within WHD load. So I should just double click on that. It takes a little while to load. The disk access is quite slow on this configuration. I don't know why. There's probably some limitation within the core and accessing the SD drive. The SD card, I should say. It's a lot faster on a real Amiga. and in UAE as well, which is the Amiga emulator. I shouldn't just assume people know what I'm talking about. Okay, this is Cannon Fodder. It should start up in a moment. There you go, Cannon Fodder. Excellent. And yeah, it runs absolutely fine. It runs just as well as it does on an Amiga 500, with the added bonus that you're running it within WHD loads, so you don't have to keep pissing around with the floppies, and it loads a lot quicker. It's a bit flickery, isn't it? I do apologise. And also, I can use a nice mouse, not one with a crappy ball in it. Okay, so I'll just start a new game. Again, I'm playing this by looking at the back of my phone, which is really quite hard. Again, you cannot see the flickering when you're looking at the real screen. I must say, I've never done level 1 of Cannon Fodder looking through the back of the phone. Ooh. There you go. Works perfectly. It's just like playing it on a real 500. Anyway, I'll quit that. If I can remember the key to quit the game. Ah, there you go. Yeah, so all these games run really well. Is there anything else worth looking at? Well, I've got loads of games anyway, so you can probably... They all run exactly as they do on a real Amiga, so you can just bloody look up on YouTube anything you really want to look at. So yeah, Amiga works on the Chameleon 64, and it's really strange when you've got it plugged into the back of the C64, because it does look like you're running Amiga games on a C64. So yeah, well, that's pretty much all I wanted to show, really. I'll have a look at the ZX Spectrum stuff at another time when I can figure out how to use it, because it uses, what's it called? TR-DOS? Is it TR-DOS? Something like that. Which I haven't managed to figure out yet. I haven't really tried, if I'm honest, but I will look at it at some point and figure it out, and then we can have a look at some Spectrum games on the Chameleon as well. But until then, I shall just leave you to it, and see you next time. Bye!